Good evening. I know the look that sits behind many eyes, the mental arithmetic at midnight, the small tightening in the chest when the bill comes due, the quiet question, will there be enough? We do not sensationalize it, but we do not deny it. It is there, and it has been trained into us by years of believing in a world of outside sources and delayed shipments. But tonight I would ask you to dare a different premise. Stop praying to get, awaken to be. Do you see that? Not get, be. Provision is not a package en route. Provision is presence here, now, recognized. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Not shall be my shepherd if I behave, if I improve, if I send him a polite request. The Lord is, there is no future tense in truth. We have been pious beggars of a future tense God, pleading with the calendar as if grace were on back order. I tell you gently and firmly, retire it. Heaven does not run a delivery service with tracking numbers. There is not an angel with a clipboard saying your parcel of supply will arrive Tuesday between 2 and 4. The I am does not ship. The I am appears. I am that I am is, as and is. God appearing as your sufficiency, as your very life. Do you see that? You may say, but the rent? I hear you. The ache is human, and we embrace the one who aches with compassion, but we do not confer authority on the ache. We turn to the presence, that is. Your Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. Knoweth, present. Not will know after your 10th repetition. Not might know if you word it perfectly. He knoweth. Therefore, take no thought for the morrow. Why? Because God is not moving toward you with a bag of coins. God is the substance of your being now, and substance never travels to itself. Do you see that? What changes when supply is realized, not requested? Everything that was strain becomes rest. The whip you used to drive yourself, how will I make this happen, drops to the floor. The mind that calculated, compared, and feared learns to be quiet, and in the quiet, fruit appears. Not because you perfected petition, but because you ceased addressing an absent deity and discovered Emmanuel, God with us, God as us. Do you see the difference? One is a conversation with distance. The other is recognition of identity. Let us be very plain. The world's teaching says there is me, there is money, and there is God somewhere, perhaps willing to help me get the money. That is a three-God economy, and it breeds ulcers. Truth says there is one. I and my Father are one. Not two friendly neighbors, one. Grammar may object, but spirit rejoices. I and the Father is one. And if one is the life, the mind, the substance of you, then to pray for supply is to ask water to come to wetness. Absurd, yes, and we have all done it. We can smile at ourselves without condemnation. Oh, we have sent our little telegrams heavenward. Please send down something, while heaven whispers, I am the something as you. Do you see that? So here is the opening provocation, not to wound, but to rouse. Stop praying for supply to arrive. Abide in the isness of God as you, and watch supply appear as recognition. Not later, now. When? Now. How? By knowing. Not by pleading. The Lord is my shepherd. Say it, not as a charm to coerce events, but as the statement of what always is. God is. God is. Is. I am. And watch how the mind tries to run to the door and listen for a knock and lovingly bring it back. Presence is the door, the house, the bread, the wine. Do you see? The anxiety will present its evidence, the ledger, the invoice, the empty shelf. We do not fight shadows on the wall. We turn on the light. Recognition is the light. What if, when the next tremor arises, instead of sending up flares, you rest one moment and remember, supply is not delivered, it is discovered in the I am. What if, instead of tightening, you soften into isness? What if, instead of asking, you accept? This is the turning. This is the difference between a life of chasing and a life of witnessing. And you can begin now because there is no other time in truth. Do you see that? Now let us speak to the habit that has worn grooves in the mind like old wagon wheels in a dusty road, the shopping list prayer, the bargaining with a future tense God. You know how it goes. We compose our needs. We itemize them reverently. We add a dash of flattery, and then we wait for shipment. It is pious commerce. It postpones peace. It trains the heart to gaze at the horizon, and it teaches the nerves to live on delay. And all the while, the one within whispers, I am. Not I will be after the paperwork is processed. I am. Do you see that? Petition, in this sense, keeps God out of reach by keeping God out of the now. We think we are praying, but we are really forecasting. We are hoping, which is a polite form of distrust. And we feel the ache of it, the famine of the now, the hunger of later. Do you see that? Prayer, in truth, is not a letter mailed to heaven. Prayer is abiding. Prayer is receptivity. Prayer is silence that knows. When thou prayest, said the Master, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. Why shut the door? To retire the parade of futures, to seal out the clocks, to let the mind fall from its little throne and be still. Be still and know that I am God. Not be busy and persuade. Not be clever and negotiate. Be still and know. And where is this closet? The kingdom of God is within you. So you carry the Holy of Holies in your ribcage, and you enter not with arguments, but with surrender. Do you see? Here is our simple insistence, and it is the mercy of this path. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. 5 minutes, an hour, 10 days, time means nothing. You cannot time the vine. You cannot put a stopwatch on SAPP and say flow now. The farmer stands quietly and trusts the life in the root. Shall the disciple do less? Sit, breathe, listen, not with ears, but with you. Wait for the click, the inner yes, the gentle weightiness of Emmanuel in your awareness. And if the mind protests with errands, with bills, with a recital of why you must hurry, smile like a mother with a fussy child and bring it back into your arms. Hush, hush, God is. Do you see that? Replace willful asking with present acknowledgement. Let your prayer reduce to holy simplicity. God is. God is. Is. I am. Not as mantra to hypnotize, but as recognition to awaken. Say it the way truth says itself. The Lord is my shepherd. He maketh me to lie down. Present. Not the Lord will be my shepherd when the invoice is stamped. Not he will make me to lie down once the drama resolves. Is, Maimonides tried to tell the scholars, the prophets sang it, Jesus lived it, I am. And I tell you also, say it in your kitchen, in your office, at the sink. God is. God appearing as this breath, as this calm, as this day, as and is. Don't try to make something happen. Don't try to change something. Recognize what is appearing as you. Do you see that? You will notice a strange thing as you practice. The famine of the heart that lived on prospects begins to dissolve. The ache that came from waiting on a deity far off gives way to a deep sufficiency that has no reasons and needs no proofs to begin. Before they call, I will answer. And while they are yet speaking, I will hear. What is that but a description of isness? Not a guarantee of priority shipping, but the unveiling of the answer already within the caller. The closet is not a place to assemble a case. It is the place where the case collapses. It is where hope yields to beholding. It is where the two become one, and grammar stumbles because spirit must say it, I and the Father is one. Do you see? So let us retire with gratitude and without regret the future tense petitions that wear out the knees and starve the soul. Let us choose abiding, present, quiet, obedient to the simple directive. Sit until presence, rise when presence is felt. Then, and only then, walk. Make this your foundation. No more bargains, no more timetables imposed on the infinite. The rule is gentle and firm. Enter the closet. Be still. Acknowledge isness. God is. God is. Is. I am. And as you do, you will find that peace is not postponed. It is discovered, and with it the effortless appearing of what we once called supply. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. Do you see that? Now let us take the Master at his own word, and let Scripture do our teaching. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Abide in me, and I in you. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. John 15. Do you hear it? Not a system of quotas, not a future shipment, not a merit badge, economy, abide, and fruit. Fruit is the natural speech of union. A branch does not beg sap, it abides. A branch does not telephone the root and say, please send me a pint by Tuesday. A branch is root substance in branch form, as and is. Do you see that? In the vine's economics, supply is not a negotiation. Supply is sap. Sap does not arrive by flattery. It flows by identity. The branch cannot bear fruit of itself, even with all its cleverness, even with all its marketing plans. It can polish the leaves. It can schedule seminars. It can create a 5-point budget, but without the inner flow, it is a handsome stick. The life is in the union. The activity follows the abiding. Do you see the order? Not work until you feel secure. Abide until the work arises as fruit. There is no future tense in truth. The sap is now. The vine is now. The Father is the husbandman now. God is. God is. I am. And what of withering? If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. Don't let the poetry frighten you. This is not the vine withdrawing love. This is the sensation of separation in our own awareness. A cut flower in a crystal vase is not being punished by the earth. It only seems to fade because it is no longer drawing from its source. In us, withering is a feeling, a tightening, an anxious checking of the door, a suspicion that life is out there. It is the ache of believing in to me and supply when there is only one. Bring the branch back to the vine and watch the color return, not by paste-on petals, by sap. Do you see that? Translate it now to the desk where your bills rest, to the inbox with its silence, to the calendar with its white spaces. In the vine, clients of fruit, checks of fruit, opportunities of fruit. They are not causes, they are effects. The cause is union. The source is one. When we reverse it, we become beggar branches, pleading with apples to grow us a tree. Absurd, yes, but we have all stood under an empty bough and tried to tape on fruit. Oh, I know the feeling. If I can just land that account. No, that account is not your life. The vine is your life. Your Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things, knoweth present In this economy, the how of provision is answered by a single directive: abide. Do you see that? Let me be very plain. In the vine economy, you do not chase money to feel provided for. You realize provision and watch money appear as one of the many forms the sap takes on its way to the table. Today, it may be a phone call. Tomorrow, a quiet idea that resolves a knot. Another day, a refund you forgot about. Sometimes, nothing at all, but a deep, effortless sufficiency, and the day goes by, and somehow all is met. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done. Why? Because the ask that arises from abiding is not a plea to alter reality. It is the vine's will voicing itself as your will. It is not a human grabbing. It is God recognizing God as and is. Do you see? Herein is the Father glorified, that you bear much fruit, not that you become expert fruit manufacturers, stressed and proud, that you abide and fruit happens, that your life becomes a quiet orchard where others rest in the shade and taste something sweet and cannot quite explain why they feel safe around you. Sit in that. The branch does not time the sap. Time means nothing. Abide. And when movement comes, let it be branch movement, effortless, sap-driven, inevitable. Let bills be treated as leaves and clients as apples. Honor them, yes, but do not worship them. Worship the vine that is your very being. God is the vine of you. You are the branch of God. There is no distance to cross. There is only isness to recognize. God is. God is. Is. I am. Do you see that? Now we must say the little word that unlocks the whole house: as. Not God and man with a cordial handshake across space. Not spirit over here and a needy creature over there. As. God appearing as individual being, as your very awareness, as the life that sings in your chest. Substance and form are not two. Do you see that? If you had a lump of glass and fashioned it into a tumbler, what would you have? Glass appearing as tumbler. The substance did not become something other than itself when it took on form. It did not send a courier to deliver glassness to a far-off cup. The cup is glass. Now take off the label man that has so often suggested distance, and hear it rightly. Here is God made manifest as you. I and my Father are one. John 10:30. One substance, one life, one mind, one love, one sufficiency, appearing as you this instant. Grammar may object, spirit smiles. I and the Father is one. Do you see that? Or take the sun and its sunbeam. You do not say, here is a beam, let us pray that someday the sun will connect. The beam is sun expressed. It does not glow by private batteries. Disturb the sun and you have no beam. Realize the sun and at once you know the beam. Now apply this to provision. You have thought of money as a small private sunbeam you must chase and catch with a jar. But money is not the sun. Money is a symbol. Spirit is the sun, the substance. The presence of God is the wealth. And that wealth may appear as dollars, as favor, as timing, as a canceled bill, as a strong idea, as wisdom to say no. Do you see that? Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights. James 1:17. Above what? Above concept, above coin. The gift is the Father's own, appearing as your enoughness now. In him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. Not outside him, peering in. Not later, applying for entrance. In him now. The Lord is your shepherd. The Lord is your very being, shepherding itself as you. Therefore, when the mind says, we must get supply, gently laugh. Oh, the scholar in you may call the ushers at that moment and answer, we must awaken to be supply. not as arrogance, but as truth. God is your substance, and that substance is forever expressing. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Psalm 24:1. If fullness is the nature of the one who is your life, how shall emptiness be your actual condition? It can be pictured, feared, dramatized, but it cannot be true in God, and God is the truth of you. Do you see that? Hear Paul. All things are yours, and ye are Christ's, and Christ is God's. 1 Corinthians 3:21-23. This is not a license to grab. It is a revelation of source. All things are yours, because you and the source are not two. As and is collapse, distance, and delay. There is no future tense in truth. Not God will become my supply when I qualify. God is supply as you now, not later when an account matures, not after you compose the perfect affirmation. Now is. I am. When the feeling of separation tries to rehearse its case, if only when I someday bring it to the altar of the little words, as and is, God as me now is. Do you see? Let us be very simple then. Stop bowing to the symbol. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Yes, pay the bill when it is yours to pay. Sign the check when the click authorizes it. But give worship only to the substance. Sit until presence. Rise and watch forms arrange themselves around the recognition, just as utensils fall into place around bread already on the table. I am the bread of life, John 6:35. Not bread in transit, but bread present. And you, as the branch of that life, find your day fed from within. One cause, one law, one source. God is. God appearing as you, as sufficiency, as quiet confidence that does not tremble before calendars. Do you see that? Then take it not as a theory to be debated, but as identity to be worn. Walk out of this moment as what you are, the very expression of the infinite, the sunbeam of the sun, the tumbler of the glass, never separate, never self-powered, always one. Let us unmask the specter that has frightened so many nights and shortened so many breaths. Lack. Where does it live? We rush to point at the ledger, at the shelf, at the balance that is dipped, and we say, there it is. No, dear one, there is no such thing as an externalized illusion. The illusion is within us. Lack is not a force stalking the streets. It is a picture in consciousness no more dangerous than streetcar tracks that seem to meet at the horizon. You have stood on that corner and sworn those rails would kiss in the distance. They do not. The eye insists. The mind corrects. In like manner, the senses insist. Not enough. And spirit answers, the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Which is true. The tracks do not change. Your seeing changes. Do you see that? Bank numbers can hypnotize. They blink on a little screen and pronounce judgment as if ordained by Sinai. We bow to them and call it prudence. But figures are symbols. They have no breath in them. Presence dehypnotizes. The Christ within breaks the spell. Why take ye thought? Consider the lilies is not a plea for irresponsibility. It is a command to de-enchant the eyes, to stand in the fact of one power, one source, one life. The mirage of finance, more, less, enough, not enough, arises in the same thought realm where two tracks look like one. When you know a mirage as mirage, your thirst ends not because the desert shipped you a crate of water, but because panic dissolves and a well appears where there seemed to be none. A well of water springing up into everlasting life, John 4:14. Not imported springing up. Do you see that? So here's the shift. Simple, practical, immediate, from counting coins to contacting consciousness. Look at the invoice. Yes, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Then close the eyes and enter the closet where the rails of sense are corrected by the light of spirit. Be still and know that I am God, not will be, I am. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. Sit until the inner click says, it is I, be not afraid. Then behold, God is the bread, God is the meat, God is the wine of life. Say it softly, not as spell, as recognition. God is, God is, is. I am. Do you feel the hypnosis loosening? The figures on the screen become figures. They cease to be your fate. The throne is vacated and God resumes it. Do you see that? You may test this gently. A student once brought me a stack of bills with trembling hands. He had rehearsed the drama to perfection. We spread them on the table like a physician lays out instruments. And then we did the only thing that ever heals. We withdrew attention from appearances and rested in isness. No manipulation, no prosperity technique, no bargaining. Just God is present. Enough. Within minutes, the weight in the room changed. Did dollars fly through the window? No. The man changed masters. By evening, he reported a quiet idea to restructure a small agreement. The next day, a refund long forgotten appeared. But the true miracle was that fear had lost its tongue. Do you see? The bills did not heal. The man awakened. The streetcar tracks of finance remained parallel as ever. They had never met. Make it a rule of seeing. When the senses cry, not enough, answer with what is always true. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Speak it to correct vision, not to coerce events. Look, then close the eyes and contact consciousness. Thou preparest a table before me. My cup runneth over. Present. The table is not in shipping. My cup is not on back order. My cup runneth over. As and is. God as you now is sufficiency. If you must take an action, let it be the branch's action, sap-led, effortless, arising after the click. Until then, refuse the hypnosis of digits and deadlines. Oh, they will bark. That is their trick. Smile and let them bark, for they have no teeth in the presence of one power. When the mirage is known as mirage, thirst ends. When lack is recognized as a picture inside, it dissolves where it began in perception because presence is realized where it has always been. God is. God is. Is. I am. Do you see that? Now take this out of the lecture hall and into your breath. Practicing isness is not a stunt. It is a gentle, steady training of awareness to live from what is, not from what seems to be missing. Let Psalm 23 be your teacher. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Say it exactly as written, not edited by fear, not postponed by hope. The Lord is. There is no future tense in truth. Let those 6 words walk with your inhalation and exhalation until the inner climate warms. Inhale softly, God is. Pause and feel the is. Exhale, I am. Do it not to cast a spell over events, but to open the eyes to presence. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He maketh, he leadeth, present. The shepherding is now. Do you see that? Sit in meditation until you feel that. Presence, yes, but also learn to carry it, like a lamp that never goes out. Time means nothing. Place means nothing. The closet Jesus spoke of is within you, and you can enter it at the sink, at the keyboard, standing in a line with a basket of groceries. Whisper within, no one need hear you but the one who is already hearing as you. God is. I am. And then let Psalm 23 read you. Let it interpret your day. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. You do not have to pick a path by anxiety. The path appears as you abide. Do you see that? Shift now from affirming outcomes to recognizing presence. The old way says, I will land this client. I will get that raise. I will close that invoice. The new creature says, Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Supply appears right in the middle of appearances that used to frighten you, deadlines, digits, even the enemy of doubt. It is not that you force a table to appear. It is that you notice the table God has always been preparing. Recognition interprets the need. It shapes the activity without strain. You open the email draft. Abide a breath in isness, and one sentence arranges itself where before there was only push. The vine does the thinking as branch thought, as and is. Do you see that? Make it homely. Make it holy. Before a phone call, breathe, the Lord is my shepherd. During the call, feel the sap, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. After the call, do not rehearse anxieties. Acknowledge, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Not will follow if the review is positive, shall follow because goodness is the spur of oneness. You will discover that Psalm 23 is not pastoral poetry. It is a manual of present tense provision. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Listen to that grammar that makes scholars nervous and saints glad runneth. Not will run over after 3 strategies and a webinar runneth. Do you see that? Carry this into the ordinaries. Washing dishes? He leadeth me. Typing a report? He restoreth my soul. Walking to the train? I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, within me, as me Emmanuel in shoe leather. Isness is portable. It does not demand incense and dim lights. Your steering wheel is an altar, your spreadsheet a psalter, when you let the vine do the thinking even while your fingers move. What changes? Not always the weather outside, first the weather within. Peace precedes evidence, and then almost sheepishly forms a line around the peace. Do you see that? Keep at it with the tenderness of a mother and the tenacity of a farmer. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. You are not programming the universe. You are dehypnotizing the eyes to behold what is. Present declarations train awareness to live from isness, not from need. Say it again, softly, until the heart nods. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. God is, I am, and walk on in that, letting the green pastures show up where they have always been under your feet, within your breath as your life. Do you see that? Now we come to the holy order of movement. Not hustle, not hurry, but order. The order of heaven is simple. Abide, click, then move. Never reverse it. Permission to act is not conferred by deadlines, by other people's urgency, or by the itch in the nerves. Permission arrives with the click, the felt presence. Emmanuel, God with us, become God as you in awareness. Until that click, you are a branch trying to impersonate a vine. After that click, you are a branch through which sap flows and movement is inevitable. No man can do these miracles that thou doest, except God be with him, John 3:2. And if God be not with him, don't try them. Do you see that? What is the click? Not a thrill, not fireworks. Often it is a soft weight, a settling of the heart into its true chair. It is the cessation of argument, the disarming of the shoulds, the instant when be still and know that I am God becomes felt instead of recited. Sometimes it comes with a warmth across the chest, sometimes as a clear, unforced sentence. sometimes as a simple yes that needs no vote. My peace I give unto you, John 14:27. That is the sign, not adrenaline peace, not push permission. It is I, be not afraid, John 6:20. Do you see that? So write it on the inside of your eyelids if you must. Don't send, don't sign, don't sell before the click. Do not press that invoice, that proposal, that price, that panicked apology out into the world while you are still a cut flower in a vase of fear. Take no thought for your life is not irresponsibility. It is sequence. Acknowledge isness first. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. Let the inbox accuse you. Let the calendar wave its arms. Smile like a mother with a fussing child and bring the mind back. Hush. God is. God is. Is. I am. When the click comes, you will know the difference, as surely as a sailor knows wind on canvas. Do you see that? And then what? After the click, take the next simple step that arises. Not 50 steps, not a campaign, one step, chlorophyll sure. You find the sentence writes itself, you dial at a moment you hadn't planned, and the voice on the other end says, I was just thinking of you. You alter a figure without fear because the figure is no longer your security, God is. You send fewer words and they carry more weight because the vine is doing the thinking as branch thought. Grace goes before you, watch for it as timing, as wording, as doors. He that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. Revelation 3-7. The iron gates you dreaded swing of their own accord, and you wonder why you had been pushing at them with your forehead. Oh, I know we all have bruises there. Do you see that? A student once came with 3 invoices ready to fly like panicked pigeons. We spread them out on the table, Caesar's paper, nothing more, and we did the only authorized thing. We turned from paper to presence. God is, is, I am. The room shifted. A phrase formed, add a note of clarity to one, hold the second for a day, combine the third with a thank you already owed, nothing dramatic, he obeyed the sequence. By week's end, 2 were answered with ease, and the third took a providential turn he could not have engineered. But hear me, the miracle was not money. The miracle was order, the new creature walking in the cadence of peace. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, Psalm 37-23. Do you see that? Never confuse sacred waiting with procrastination. Procrastination is fear, stalling. Sacred waiting is love, arranging the stage. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Exodus 14:13. Stand still until the sea opens. Then go forward when it does. Exodus 14:15. Do not run into the water to prove your courage. Do not camp on the shore out of sloth. Abide until the click. Move when the click moves you. This is not laziness. It is obedience to the vine sequence. There is no future tense in truth. The directive arises now as presence and movement flows as its echo. Make this your rule of life until it becomes so natural you cannot imagine any other way. Morning, sit until presence. Midday, pause until click. Evening, review. Not outcomes, but whether you honored the order, and when you miss it, and you will, because branches forget and hustle sometimes return softly. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. The only authorized action is the step that arises after the click. All else is noise. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3-6. Acknowledge him first. God is your very being now, and paths appear under your feet like stones across a stream. Walk one at a time, unhurried. God is. God is. Is. I am. Do you see that? Now let me give you the quiet kind. The kind that never make the papers because they arrive without trumpets and leave no scorch marks on the carpet. We call them money miracles, but they are not about money at all. They are the vine whispering, abide, and fruit appearing, because sap must be itself. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you, Matthew 6:33, added, not manufactured, not leveraged, added to isness. Do you see that? A woman sat with an ache in the stomach over a cluster of fees. 3 months of small mistimings had produced an ungainly pile, overdrafts, late charges, penalties blooming like mushrooms after rain. She wanted to telephone and demand justice. I said, first the click. She sat. God is. God is. Is. I am. The nerve settled peace, not a performance. Then the simple directive. Call, not to argue, but to listen. She dialed. A representative answered. Words came soft, unforced. Let me see what I can do for you, the voice said. One fee wiped, then another. Then, this is unusual, but given your history, and the third vanished and a fourth halved, what happened? Did a bank become benevolent? No. You haven't witnessed money magic. You have witnessed order, the new creature supply, spirit as sufficiency, appearing as fairness and favor. Before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. Isaiah 65:24. Do you see that? Another anxious, waiting for a payment that had surely been sent. He had drafted 3 flaming emails in his mind. We pushed them aside and did the only authorized thing, turned from paper to presence. God is. God is. Is. I am. The room grew larger, the breath unknotted. In the calm came a nudge check the old address on file. Not cleverness, clarity. He wrote one short note, free of heat, asking whether the remit too was current. Within an hour, the reply. We discovered the wire bounced due to a digit transposed. Funds are resent. The ledger sighed. But the miracle? Not dollars received, attention redeemed. The fuss was emptied of its authority. The vine thought as branch thought, and order always the language of oneness spoke in prompt corrections. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, 1 Corinthians 14:33. Do you see that? And my favorite kind needs that evaporate because the assignment itself changes. A young man told me he had to buy a costly piece of software by Friday or lose the job. The stomach says hurry. The calendar shouts. We did not move. We abided. Sit until presence. Time means nothing. Then the click and a word formed in consciousness, wait. He wrote to the client for a clarifying call. On the call, the scope shifted. The company decided to host the project on their own platform and issued him a temporary license. The need that loomed like Goliath melted like a mist when the sun topped the hill. What happened? Not thrift, and certainly not manipulation. Recognition first, appearance second. He did not acquire money. He discovered he did not need to spend it. Ye shall not see wind, neither shall ye see rain, yet that valley shall be filled with water. 2 Kings 3:17. Do you see that? Now, hear this gently. Do not turn these quiet mercies into techniques. We are notorious for bottling manna. If I meditate for 7 minutes, then call the bank, then say this exact phrase, I too shall have 4 fees waived. No, that is idolatry of method. Stay with presence, not outcomes. The kingdom cometh not with observation, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:22-1. The pattern is not procedural. It is ontological. Recognition begets appearing. Cause is God. Effect is form. Sap is the secret. Fruit is inevitable. Do you see that? If you collect testimonies, collect them for the fragrance, not for the formula. Let them remind you that life arranges when you rest in life, that sufficiency is a presence, not a pile. One day the witness will be a fee waived, another day a lost payment found, another a need discovered to be a mirage, and in all of them the real demonstration will be the same: a heart stilled, a mind single, a branch drinking what it already is. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord, Zechariah 4-6. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. Sit until presence. Move after the click. And as you do, you will find demonstrations without drama walking in behind you like goodness and mercy, effects following cause as natural as fruit follows sap. God is. God is. Is. I am. Do you see that? After all this talk of invoices and clicks, let us admit something very human and very holy. The vine laughs. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. John 15:11. Full, not pinched. Joy, not jaw-clenched religiosity. A merry heart is not a sin. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, Proverbs 17:22. Oh, I can go to the movies every night. Won't that be nice? Yes, when the click leads you, even popcorn is holy. Do you see that? It is not about escape. It is about ease. Humor dislodges strain, and strain is proof of separation thinking, not of devotion. Grace wears a smile. It does not grind its teeth. Notice how the body tells on the mind. When you are striving, the shoulders creep up, the breath gets thin, the eyes dart to calendars like birds to wire. Separation. When you are abiding, the forehead smooths, the breath deepens, and a little unforced mirth bubbles up at the drama of digits and deadlines. Security feels like ease. Joy is the sign you have stopped trying to pull sap with your own little pump and have started resting in the flow that always was. The branch does not tug to make grapes. It abides and finds itself heavy with sweetness. Do you see that? As and is. God as you now is sufficiency, and the effect is not a pious scowl. It is quiet cheer. The joy of the Lord is your strength, Nehemiah 8:10. Strength looks like lightness when it is God. Let yourself laugh gently at the old habits. When the mind begins its parade, if only when I someday smile like a mother at a toddler insisting the moon belongs in his pocket, smile and return to isness. God is. God is. Is. I am. Often that very smile is the hinge on which the door opens. Then the call goes well because you carry no strain into it. The email reads simple because you do not try to force favor. You let favor be what it already is. Even the long line at the shop becomes a sanctuary when you hear within, "The Lord is my shepherd," and your mouth, almost against your will, wants to sing. Then was our mouth filled with laughter and our tongue with singing. Psalm 126:2. Not after the harvest, only laughter is itself the first sheaf. Do you see how practical this is? Joy is not garnish. It is guidance. Relaxed joy signals trust in the already is vine. When the chuckle is honest and the shoulders drop, the click is not far. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. When you rise, carry a little levity with your peace. Let it be the sign that the yoke is easy and the burden light, because the one bearing it is not two. If you find yourself getting very serious, very grim, pause and let a smile return you to the secret. God is. God is. Is. I am. Grace wears a smile. Do you see that? Now we must speak plainly about what so many of us have tried to do with such earnestness that we have nearly worn holes in our calculators. We have attempted to tape the leaks of fear with arithmetic. We patch the budget, mend a column, shave a category, and for an afternoon the boat seems less wet, then the wind shifts and water is back at our ankles. Why? Because prosperity is not a repaired spreadsheet. It is a revealed identity. No man putteth a piece of new cloth unto an old garment, Matthew 9:16. Do you see that? The issue is not cloth. The issue is garment. The question is not, how do I adjust this figure, but who is the one counting? Identity, not arithmetic, is the hinge. Hear Paul with new ears. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. He does not say a slightly improved creature with better envelopes. New, the old anxious earner, the one who lives by sweat, by strain, by bargaining with a future tense God, drops away under the light of oneness. Here is God made manifest as man. God as you, the very substance appearing as individuality. As glass appears as tumbler, not beside it or apart from it, so God appears as you, not supplementing you. Do you see that? When you touch this, black dissolves where it began in a mistaken identity. You haven't seen a repaired budget at all. You have witnessed the new creature, Christ's sufficiency and poise here and now. And note the manner of it. The man at the pool does not negotiate a schedule for healing. He hears, rise, take up thy bed and walk, John 5-8, and he walks. He doesn't convalesce, he jumps. The withered hand does not attend therapy. It stretches forth at a word, Mark 3-5. So with this, the heart does not unclench by inches when presence is realized. It opens. The stomach does not bargain. It settles. There is no future tense in truth. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Is, shall not follows, is as shadow follows form. When identity is seen, God, I am, I and the Father is one. I know the grammarians faint, but truth is untroubled. Then sufficiency appears as its own evidence, not strain fruit, not hustle flow. Do you see that? Refuse incrementalism as savior. Gradualism belongs to the hypnosis of humanhood, the old wineskins that split under the pressure of new wine. Luke 5-37-38. You can reorganize categories until kingdom come and remain a beggar in consciousness. 2 cents or 2 million if the old man is balancing the book. The ledger trembles. Oh, I can color code my fear. Won't that be nice? A lavender panic is still panic. The remedy is not a cleverer patch on the old garment. It is putting on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Ephesians 4:24. Put on the language is decisive, not tentative. Do you see that? Let me show you. A businessman came determined to become more disciplined. He had 3 apps, 5 funds, and a proverb for every purchase. And still he woke at 3 a.m. with a stone where his breath should be. We did not add a 6th app. We retired the earner. We sat. God is. God is. Is. I am. Time means nothing. In the hush, a sentence arrived, not to fix, to reveal. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me, Galatians 2:20. He laughed light, surprised, as if a coat he had been gripping fell from his hands. In that instant, the old identity, a solitary provider with a universe on his back, was set aside. The next day he met a client, not as a vendor pleading for favor, but as presence, meeting presence. The conversation turned. A scope expanded naturally. A retainer replaced a string of small invoices. But hear me, the miracle was not the retainer. The miracle was the man who walked in, the one who had not been there the day before, the new creature of provision, poised, unhurried, sufficient because God is his being. Do you see that? This is the prosperity of Christ identity. It is not a patched-up budget. It is the disappearance of the fearful accountant in the light of Emmanuel. You are not the branch tugging at grapes. You are branch as sap expression, life expressing itself without debate. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, Romans 12:2. Not conformed to the calculus of lack, transformed by the recognition of isness. Put off, put on, retire the future tense God who must be persuaded, abide in the present God who is your very breath. Then watch how numbers become what they always were, symbols that follow order. Watch how poise replaces panic, how speech slows, how emails shorten, how kindness rises, how provision appears like fruit after rain. Never give up, never give up. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence, time, means nothing. Accept revelation as source and let arithmetic trail behind as effect. God is, God is, I am. Identity, not arithmetic, is the hinge. Do you see that? Now let us end the two-God economy. Our tradition has taught us to live between altars, one to God on Sunday and one to Mammon on Monday, and then to shuttle our fear between them like a courier. Hear the correction. Hear, O Israel. The Lord our God is one Lord. Deuteronomy 6-4. One, not God and market, not spirit and matter, not vine and a rival vine in the next field. I am the Lord, and there is none else. Isaiah 45-5. Do you see that? He cannot serve God and mammon. Matthew 6:24 is not a threat from two kings. It is the exposure of our hypnosis. Withdraw service from the idol of second power, and you discover there never was a rival. One power means nothing stands between you and sufficiency. I and the Father is one. I know the scholars reach for smelling salts, but oneness does not decline into plurality to suit grammar. Do you see that? When there is one cause, form ceases to frighten you. Money, contracts, markets, these are not sources. They are shadows of source. As glass appears as tumbler, so God appears as your provision, your opportunity, your daily bread. Do not worship the tumbler, drink. When a bill arrives, it is not an antagonist come to test your deity. The bill becomes an altar because it turns your gaze from symbol to substance. Hold it quietly and remember, there is no such thing as an externalized illusion. The illusion is within us. The fear is not in the paper. The fear is in the thought that there are two powers and you happen to owe one of them. Do you see that? Like streetcar tracks that seem to meet at the horizon, lack appears to converge upon you only while you stare from a certain angle. Lift the eye presence and the lines straighten at once, right where they always were. Practice gratitude before proof, and you deny the idol his last worship service. Thank the vine while the fruit is still green. In everything give thanks, 1 Thessalonians 5:18 is not naivete, it is fidelity to one power. Before digits change, bless the source that never changes, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning, James 1:17. Stand at the kitchen table with the invoice. Place your hand upon it, not to beg, to bless and whisper, God is. God is. I am. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Psalm 24:1. The shepherd is, therefore I shall not want. Gratitude acknowledges isness. Acknowledgement dissolves the hypnosis of twoness. Then action, simple, unforced, appears. Fear fades precisely where its lie is exposed, the lie of rivalry. You have believed there is spirit, and then there is the market which must be appeased with worry, with pacing, with midnight arithmetic. No, there is one law, one cause, one life streaming as intelligence, timing, arrangement. Your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things, Matthew 6:32. Do you see how oneness ends negotiation? When, you stop bargaining with the future, stop vowing, if this clears, then I will be spiritual. The son does not bid for seat at his own table. Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. Luke 15:31. Ever with me now. There is no future tense in truth. So bills change character in your hands. They are no longer demands from a second deity. They are sacraments, a place to practice fidelity to one power. You do the only authorized thing. You abide until the click. You bless before proof. You wait for the unhurried directive, and then you take the simple step that arises. Sometimes you call and kindness meets you. Sometimes you adjust a figure without tremor. Sometimes the need itself evaporates as scope changes. But whichever appearance follows, the substance is constant. One power, one law, one cause, God as your very being, appearing as enoughness, right where shortage advertised itself a minute ago. Do you see that? Refuse every story of two. Not God and economy, not prayer and grind, not grace and odds stacked against you. Oneness is the end of odds. When the mind wanders to its old altar, calculating how to purchase favor from Mammon's smile and return to isness, God is, I am. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence, time means nothing. Never give up. Never give up. And as you live inside this single light consciousness, you will find that nothing stands between you and sufficiency, because there is no between in one. I and my Father are one. John 10:30. One means finished. One means free. One means the sap has no rival pipeline. It simply is, and fruit appears. Do you see that? So here is the rule of life. Simple enough for a child, strong enough for a storm. Morning, sit until presence. Before screens, before schemes, before the mind begins its parade, sit. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Do not rise on a rumor of peace. Wait for the click. Time means nothing. 5 minutes or 50 do not measure. Sit until the inner air clears and the heart takes its true seat. God is, I am. When the click comes, you will know it, because hurry leaves and ease arrives. Only then do you open the day. Do you see that? Midday, 1 minute abidings, a dozen of them if need be. At the sink, at the threshold of an email, at the hinge of a meeting, 1 minute of closet within, doors shut to noise, windows open to sap. God is, the Lord is my shepherd. I am the branch abiding in the vine. No theatrics, no bargaining, just a return. Treat each task as if this was the only minute on earth, because in truth it is. There is no future tense in truth. Abide first, then act in that light. The sentence you write will bear more weight than pages you could have pushed without presence. The hand you extend will carry the comfort of rod and staff. In him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. Live, move, have your being now, in him, as him, appearing as you. Do you see that? Evening gratitude in isness, not a ledger of favors to flatter a distant deity, but a resting in the nearness that fed you all day as life itself. Give us this day our daily bread. Matthew 6:11. See how it came, not always as coins or contracts, but as right words, right timings, right no's, and right yeses. Let Psalm 23 tuck you in. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Review, not outcomes, but obedience. Did I sit until presence? Did I pause until click where I missed it? And we all do. Let gentleness rewrite tomorrow. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. Do you see that? Make this your cadence until the cord cannot be broken. Sit, click, step, pause, click, speak, recline, click, release. The world will call this impractical. Heaven calls it order. You will discover that fear has no schedule in a life run by presence, and that sufficiency does not arrive by pressure, but by recognition. Security is not a pile. It is a person, Emmanuel, God with us, God as you. One power, one law, one source. When you know this, not as theory, but as felt isness, you walk in enoughness. Shoes on ordinary streets become sandals on holy ground. Do you see that? And now a charge to the serious ones. This is not a sprint. It is a way. Persist when mornings feel dull and middays are fussy and evenings arrive ragged. Sit anyway, pause anyway, rest anyway. Never give up, never give up. Time means nothing. Remember, sap does not panic, it simply flows. You are not persuading a reluctant heaven. You are consenting to what is, as and is. God as you. God is. I am. Seal it to your heart as a mantra and as a map. God is, the Lord is my shepherd. I am the branch abiding in the vine. Whisper it at dawn. Breathe it at noon. Let it sing you to sleep. Abide in me and I in you, for without me ye can do nothing. John 15:4-5. With him as him, everything that needs appearing appears in season, and what does not serve falls away like chaff before the wind. Walk out now with this assurance. You do not go to find supply, you go as supply recognized. Make abiding your first habit. Let fruit reveal itself. God is. God is. Is. I am. Do you see that?